Welcome, my dear friends, to the 55th class of the Bhagavad Gita. We are studying chapter 7, and chapter 7 is all about bhakti. In fact, from chapter 7 to 12, it's all about Lord's power, Lord's attributes, His beauty, His grace, His strength, and His all-pervading nature, His omnipotence, His omniscience, and it automatically brings out this aspect of bhakti from within us. In the last class, we studied from verses 4 to 8. So let us quickly revise those verses. In shloka number 4, Krishna says to Arjuna, "My manifested nature, Prakriti, has an eightfold differentiation, which is earth, water, fire, air, ether, and then the mind, the manas, the buddhi, intelligence, and the ahamkara, ego. And this all Master explained that in God's dream, as God manifests this creation out of his consciousness, he uses these elements to create, like as the stage of the earth is created, and then beings are put on that stage, and each being is been given the power to think and the power of I-ness, in the sense it feels that it is a separate entity, and therefore every individual has a subjective experience as he or she plays his character on earth. The problem is that we forget that we are playing a character, and then we will go more into detail about this detail and as we proceed with the shlokas for today. In shloka number 5, Krishna continues. He says, "Thus my lower nature, which is apara prakriti, but understand, O mighty armed Arjuna, that my different and higher nature, para prakriti, is self-conscious, and it is the life principle that is behind the cosmos, that is the substratum of the cosmos." So here Krishna is pointing out that the physical cosmos that you see all around you is made of my lower nature, lower prakriti, called the apara prakriti. But there is a higher nature behind it. And Master explains that the para prakriti, which is the subtle astral cosmos which is behind the physical, and behind that is the causal universe, the thought universe, the ideas that have brought this creation into being. And even higher than that is Krishna consciousness, which is the actual life principle and sustainer of this entire cosmos as we see it around. We see this cosmos only through the lenses of 5 senses. So we can only see limited, hear limited, touch limited, taste limited, and smell limited. But this is an infinite cosmos made of multiverses, made of billions of galaxies and billions of stars and billions of planets. And it is said, Master said, and the scriptures say there is life everywhere. Everything is alive in a sense. And of that, of that large part, so it is said that the earth and the solar system, or even this galaxy, is like a speck of dust in the universal plan, and the entire universe is just a speck of dust sitting on the lap of the Lord. So this is the perspective that we find here in the Gita, that we are shown infinity, we are shown eternity, and we are also shown the right perspective, that even though we are, which seem to be very tiny, minuscule creatures in only a small space-time fragment, but actually our real nature is what is mentioned in this shloka, is that behind the physical body that we see is the astral body that we have, behind that is our causal body, and behind that is the soul spirit, the atman, which is part of the Paramatman, which is ever conscious, which is ever awake, which is ever present, which is eternal, and which is infinite. Okay, so he goes on in shloka number 6 and he says, "Understand these two dual natures of mine, the pure and the impure Prakriti, and these are the womb of all the beings. I am the progenitor and also the dissolver of the entire cosmos." So we discussed that how the omnipotent and the omnipresent consciousness of Krishna, he directly says that I am the omnipotent cause, I am the omnipresent cause, I am the seed, I am the progenitor. He's both the material cause and he is also the intelligent cause of the universe. So again, bringing it to ourselves, that means who is the cause of our being present here? It is the Lord himself. He is responsible for us being here, and not only has he impersonally created the universe, but as Paramahansa Yogananda said, that because he has created each of us uniquely out of his love, therefore he also has a personal relationship with each one of us individually. And the path to God for each one of us goes out from our own heart and soul individually to the Lord. Obviously, the paths have been laid. For some, the temperament may be bhakti, for others, it may be jnana, or it may be karma, or it may be meditation. But actually speaking, your relationship to God and your path to God is running from your soul to the infinite. So the path to God for you is not outside of you. You have to turn inwards to be able to find that path. So the way out is actually the way in. So if you want to escape the thraldom of Maya, if you want to escape this round of birth and death, why birth and death? Because it is a sorrow-giving process. If you want to escape, then where do you go? Do you go outwards? No, that is not the way of the Lord. That is the way of the world. That is the way of Maya. Therefore, if you have chosen in this life that now I want to go Godwards, then the only way is to turn yourself in. And that is where all the yoga practices that have been spread by various saints, sages, and gurus, those will come to our rescue, and they will help us to turn inwards. And when we turn within, we find the divinity within ourselves. And finding that divinity within ourselves, it is easy to see that if divinity is within me, it is present everywhere, and you can also experience the direct continuum of your consciousness with the consciousness of the rest of the world. In shloka number 7, he says, O Arjuna, there is nothing higher than me. There is nothing beyond me. All things, that means all creatures and all objects, are bound to me like a row of gems on a thread. So, Master explains that just as a thread or a string, it supports the gems or the pearls that are on the string, and to create a beautiful necklace. And just like a dreamer's mind it upholds whatever dream sequences the mind then projects. So whether it is a good dream or a bad dream, or the characters in the dream or the situations in the dream, whatever those dreams are made of, it's actually the mind. So what is the string behind all the dream sequences? It is the mind. So Master says, similarly, it is God's consciousness running in and through everything in this creation that is upholding this creation. It's just that we see so much variety, so we get confused. And it is because, so here God is clearly saying, I am the cause of everything, I am in everything. So but then he knows that we will say, oh, but Lord, but this water appears to be different to me, this solid appears to be different to me. How is it possible that the ice is the same as the liquid water, is the same as air, is the same as fire, is the same as the color green, is the same as the color red? Are all the colors of the rainbow same? How is it possible? Because my eyes see them differently. So then God comes to the next shloka, because he understands that we are bewildered by this fact that everything is one. So what does he say in shloka number 8? He says, O son of Kunti Arjuna, I am the fluidity of waters. I am the radiation in the sun and the moon. I am the Om, the Pranava in all the Vedas. I am the sound of the ether, and I am the manliness in men. So here, this is so beautiful that Krishna understands that our mind runs at the conscious level, which is very divisive, which sees things differentiated and differently in their variegated property. So that's why Krishna, after having said that, yes, I'm in everything, but then he says, okay, the water that you see, that fluid thing that you see, I am the fluidity of that. The solid that you see, I am the solidity of that. The mountain that you see, I am the height of that mountain. I am the depth of the ocean that you see. I am the green in the forest. I am the love in the lover's heart. So when we see a loving relationship, there is the lover, there is the beloved, and there is the act of loving. And what is God? God is all of these. God is the lover, God is the beloved, and the act of loving and the power of love itself, means the essence of all of this, is also God. And the more we can comprehend this truth within us, the more we are getting closer and closer to the truth of the oneness of everything, and also the oneness of me or ourself with the rest of the universe, the oneness of the body mind with the soul, and the oneness of the soul with the spirit. All of that is easy to understand as we get closer and closer to what Krishna is trying to explain to us. So what we can do, how do we take this verse and live our daily life, is to accept it as the truth. It is the truth. It is coming from the mouth of Lord Krishna. It is the truth. So once you see everything around you, instead of trying to see the difference, try and see the commonality that is there in everything. And just by seeing another human being, we can just come to the point that, oh, we are breathing the same air. We are drinking the same water. Our needs are just the same. Our joys are just the same. Our sorrows are just the same. As human beings, all, are born and they die. They go through the same processes. And eventually all our happiness lies in that one God. Just try to simplify life instead of trying to see the superficial personality differences. Oh, he is different than I am. He is greedy. I am not. I am this personality. That person is not. I am good. He is bad. So instead of trying to classify all of that, just leave all those things separately. And from your heart, try to feel that everything is one. All human beings are our brothers and sisters. They are part of our own extended self. And then life, you will find, will become so simple, because you will not judge others. You will not be angry with others. You will not hate them. And you will come to the positive side of all the virtues. And that will help us to transcend our ego eventually, because we know that all of this is one. This brings us to the shlokas for today, and we start with shloka number 9. This Krishna is saying, he continues to say, Punyo gandha prithivvyam cha tejashrismi vibhavaso jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapaschasmi tapasvishu. मैं पृथ्वी से निसृत होती पुष्टिकर गंध हूं, अग्नि की तेजस्विता मैं हूं, संपूर्ण प्राणियों में जीवन तथा तपस्वियों में तप मैं हूं. I am the wholesome fragrance exuding from the earth. The luminescence in the fire am I, the life in all creatures, and the self-discipline in anchorites. So again, he goes on to explain all the other varieties and saying that I am the essence of that. So when you think of fire, can you separate the heat of the fire and the light produced by the fire from the fire itself? So the structure and the essence have to be together. The moment you think of fire, the same moment you think of the burning power of the fire. Similarly, when you think of milk in your mind, you suddenly associate it with whiteness. So can you separate the whiteness of the milk with the milk itself? No. Can you separate a living being from life itself? No. Can you separate the power to do tapasya from a tapasvi itself? No. So both of these, he is saying, I am both of them. I am the power, the abstract quality, the essence, and as well as the object that is formed. So he's clearly declaring that. And then he's specifically mentioning the earth. In the previous stanza, he mentioned, water. So a master says that he is metaphysically speaking, he is talking about our own self. Why? Because our own body is a miniature form of the universe. It is made up of all the elements that are present in the universe. In fact, current scientific study says that if you were to count everything from the Big Bang, then and the atoms that are circulating in your body. So now think of the hydrogen and the oxygen that is there in the water in your body, which is more than 70%. Now, from where have those hydrogen and oxygen atoms come? They are coming from the nebulous gases of the stardust which started at the Big Bang. So the universal stardust starting from Big Bang is still present in us. The cells of our body, the atoms circulating, the electrons circulating are same as they are circulating in the galaxy. And some theorists even go on to say that the same atoms that made up the body of Krishna, that made up the body of Jesus, or made up the body of Ram, or other avatars, probably those same atoms are circulating in your own bodies right now. So you are infinite and eternal in nature. It's just that you don't stop and ponder to think what is happening in your body and mind. You are so busy and engaged with this outer limited world, and when such limited thoughts and emotions you have trapped yourself, we all start to live in the box, that we don't even pause and ponder and then wonder. We are not awestruck by the fact that, oh my God, this is happening. Look, what is the real truth? We die every moment, and we are living every moment. In the sense, the Radhika that existed 2 years ago is dead already. The Radhika that existed yesterday is dead already. The Radhika that existed in the morning is also dead already. So what is this? Every moment life is changing, the spectacle is changing. And the beauty is that we can stand apart from this changing spectacle and know our truth to be the Atman, to be the consciousness behind it, which is unchanging, which is immortal. And this is, so we should be in awe of this wonderful creation, that wow, God, what you have made and how wondrous this is. That I can choose to be a witness of all this spectacle, and if I want, I can participate also in this spectacle. The only problem with participation is that you get too emotional and too attached with this, and you get lost in the spectacle, and you forget that you were always the blissful witness consciousness. But the choice is there with us all the time. We can choose. Do we want to get involved with this creation as much as we are right now, or do we, with the grace of God, the Guru, the technique, the teachings, can we separate our our pure consciousness from this outward phenomena that is happening? And everything is a phenomena. Our body is a continuous phenomena of changing, of whirling electrons, of moving atoms, of cells getting dead all the time. Inside, the breath is all the time changing. It's a phenomenon. Our mind is also, the thoughts are changing moment to moment. Our emotions are changing moment to moment. So all of this means all of your causal, astral and physical bodies are nothing but phenomenon. And you are the noumenon, the cause, the soul. That is who you are. So either by yoga practice, you can continue to stay as the blissful noumenon or the cause, or if you want, you can engage with the phenomenon. And this is the Leela of the Lord. And always remember what Master says. He says that this creation and your role in it is created for two purposes. It is entertainment and education. The problem is that we forget both. Are we getting entertained? Are we feeling happy? No, we are so engaged that we are miserable. And then are we getting educated? Education is again being able to separate the permanent from the temporary, the real from the unreal, the stable from all of this impermanence. Are you able to separate your soul self from this phenomenon? That is the education that we are here to gain. We are here for God realization. We are here for self-realization. And once we are at the point of self-realization, automatically we have become that blissful consciousness, and we are able to appreciate this drama of life as the Lord's Leela. Till then, till we realize that this is all a dream drama, it is full of suffering and misery. This samsara is a mrityu dukkha sagara. It's an ocean of death, ocean of suffering, and so therefore, a very interesting point here is that a person, most people, like majority of people, are into this game of suffering, and they don't even seek anything higher. So if you are at least at the point where you've started to seek something better than where you are, if you have started to ponder upon this question that, oh, maybe there is something better and higher, maybe I am made for a higher bliss, or maybe I am made for perfect bliss. And if that is the case, how will I reach to that perfect bliss? If you are even a spiritual seeker, if you are on the path of seeking the truth, and even though unsuccessfully you may go on this path, of course success will come, but even though initially there may be not be so much success, you are still much better off than a person who doesn't even bother to understand that all of this suffering and misery, one can transcend it, and there is an urgent need to transcend it. So be happy that you are seeking the Lord, and as the Lord said earlier, that one out of many thousand seek me. So thanks to the Guru and thanks to God that at least we are one of those who are trying to seek the truth. Okay, so coming back to the shloka number 9 and talking of the earth and its fragrance. So Master says he's talking about us and he's talking mentioning the chakras. So the chakras is the nerve plexuses of the astral body. And in these nerve plexuses, the Master says that the seeker, that the yogi can perceive the earth element in his Mooladhara or coccygeal chakra. He can perceive the water element in his Swadhisthana chakra. He can perceive the cosmic fire as the fire in his own Manipur chakra. He can perceive the cosmic prana or the cosmic vitality in his own dorsal center or the Anahat or heart chakra. And he can perceive the cerebral, in his own cerebrum, in the Sahasrara and in the Agya, he can perceive the consciousness, the Christ consciousness or Kutastha Chaitanya or Krishna consciousness and the cosmic consciousness, which is pure Sat, which is pure being. So the man himself right now, right here, whatever the God is saying that I am the earth, I am the water, we can perceive in these human bodies which are equipped with a very advanced nervous system and the capability to ask the truth and seek it. We are able to feel all these elements within ourselves, of course, and we also have the other three elements which are in creation like manas or mind, intelligence or buddhi, and ahamkara or ego. So ego somewhere, it is said that animals don't have ego and they work only with instincts, and that is why they don't have any karma. But when you become human beings, you have this ego entity which refers everything to you, and you start to think of I, me, and mine. So initially, for the initial few millions of years, the ego is not so refined and it does not understand its suffering and that it itself is the cause of suffering. So you need the ego initially to first understand that I am suffering. And once you are able to know that, I am suffering and it is I who have to make the self effort to transcend this Maya, to cross over into this ocean of suffering and misery. Once I understand this, then as a next step by the Guru's grace, I understand that it is the very I thought which is the cause of suffering itself. And it is then that you want to transcend that I thought and go beyond into the oneness of everything and to understand that there is no separate I-ness. It is a false, it's an illusion. It is a delusion that has been, it is hypnosis that we have been put inside. We are under a spell of thinking that I am a separate person, I am a separate body, I am a separate entity. This is a spell which has to be broken, and we will study how we can do that. This brings us to shloka number 10. In shloka number 10, Krishna says, Bijam mam sarva bhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejas tejasvinamaham. हे पार्थ, सब जीवों का शाश्वत बीज मुझे ही जानो। मैं ही बुद्धिमानों की बुद्धि तथा तेजस्वियों का तेज हूं। Know me to be the eternal seed of all creatures, O son of Pritha Arjun. I am the understanding of the keen, and I am the radiance of vital beings. So he continues to be more and more specific, and he is now saying that I am the seed of everything. So because humans understand that if they sow a seed in the soil, it turns out and becomes a big tree, that the tree lies in the seed. This much the humans understand. How it is, how the blueprint happens, what is the astral, where is the astral tree or the causal tree inside the seed, that humans may not understand with their limited understanding. But at least this much in their experience, they have understood that the seed contains the whole tree. And now Krishna is saying, I am that seed of everything. So I am that blueprint, that cause of the progenitor of everything that exists in the universe. And that is why he is saying that I am your seed, I am your cause, I am your essence, I am your characteristic, and I am your true reality. I am the life that is flowing through you. And this is so reassuring because it just points our attention to the fact that if we look at ourselves, whatever life that we are leading, the very pulsation inside of us, the essence that makes us a living entity is God Himself. It is we who are unaware of His presence inside us that we look for Him here and there. And thus the story of the musk deer, that he is having a fragrance from inside, but he doesn't know. He keeps looking here and there, and actually he dies in that process. Same is the truth for us. We are bliss itself. But because that bliss has been conditioned by being in a limited human body, in a space-time frame, and that therefore man thinks, and when he looks outside and he finds something pleasurable, he thinks that it is the object that is giving him pleasure. What he forgets is that the ability of being blissful is his own. His soul is bliss itself, and he is projecting that bliss onto that little object and then perceiving it through the senses and getting a little pleasure out of that whole experience. And he starts to think that the objects in the world are giving me happiness. This is the delusion. This is the hypnosis that we are all under. And this is what has to be corrected. But here, Krishna is, with each slok, he is correcting all of this. He is saying that I am the seed which is inside you. I am your power. I am as we said, the tapasya of the tapasvi, the asceticism of the ascetic. I am the intelligence of the keen. So anywhere if you find an intelligent person, no, usually what happens in the world is what we kind of give him a lot of credit, but we do not give credit to God at all. Says, oh, he has learnt a lot, he has a lot of knowledge, he has a lot, he's a very intelligent person, but we do not even for once give credit for, oh, God is shining through him through his intelligence. All of this is God made. This is God's power. He is an instrument. Yes, he has honed his skill. Yes, he has made in the self effort to develop that skill. But the real power, the seed of intelligence, is coming from the all pervading Lord. And this is what we need to recognize from in our daily experiences. If a person is kind to us, recognize that his kindness is coming from God. If a person is sweet, that his sweetness, the source is the Lord. A person who is smart, his smartness, his confidence, his courage, his manliness is coming from God. So all the virtues that you see flowing through people, through different people, they are all not only coming from the Lord, they are the Lord himself in his abstract, formless, infinite, nameless form. They are all flowing through, all these qualities are flowing through all of us, and we are incomplete. If we just take our body, we are only jada or only matter. What makes us alive is these qualities that run through us. Somebody has a lot of courage, somebody has a lot of intelligence, somebody has a lot of love. That is what makes that person unique. So God is flowing through each one and manifesting a unique quality in a different shade, in a different grade. And this is what makes this creation so beautiful. And again, you are awestruck at the variety and you are awestruck at the magnanimity of this entire creation. But then make it simple. Come back to the common cause and say, all is God. God has created this. God has manifested himself through all of this that I see all around me. Okay, so this brings us to the next shloka, which is shloka number 11. Balam balvatam chaham kam raga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi भरतर्षभ. हे भरत श्रेष्ठ अर्जुन, बलवानों में मैं कामनाओं और आसक्तियों से रहित बल हूं. मैं मनुष्यों में वह काम अथवा इच्छा हूं जो धर्म के अनुकूल है. Among the powerful, O best of the Bharatas, Arjuna, I am the power that is free from longing and attachment. I am that desire in men which is keeping with dharma or righteousness. Now, again, this is so beautiful because after having explained so many things, Arjuna will say, okay, Lord, you are everything. You are in the mountain, you are in the ocean, you are in the river, you are in the water. you are in my emotions, you are in my thoughts, you have made my body. But what about this desire thing? Why do I have so much desire then? What about this thing? Where has this come from? This is a natural subconscious question that an intelligent person may have in his mind. And without saying, Krishna is addressing and he's answering this question, that I am the desire in you. But then he qualifies it. He says, I am that desire which is in attunement with righteousness. Now, of course, we know that even the evil desires are eventually coming from God, but let us not forget that although they are coming from God, but it is the free choice of each individual which is choosing the evil stream rather than the good. And that is why here it is saying you have free choice, and you might as well, indirectly saying, you might as well choose that which is righteous. And that is why he's saying, I am that desire which is in tune with righteousness. And also what he's saying is that I am that power. So whenever you see anybody powerful, what is the power in it? That power which is unattached. So again, the infinite power which is present in every being. The problem is when we have desire with this, the power we get fixated on an object. So for example, say I desire a car, a new car. So I have power to get anything in the universe. I have the power to be still. But what I do, I use my power and attach it to that object and have a longing in my heart for that object. So what Krishna is saying, that I am power, but unattached and without longing. So ever present and all pervading power. It's just that because we as limited human beings, working through the senses, we get deluded and we start desiring objects. Therefore, that immense power, it filters down, it steps down to our level, and then it trickles as a little power that we use to fulfill our longing and to get attached to the things. So he's saying, I am not that power with which you get attached to various things, and you then, what happens when you get attached and you cling? Then you suffer. I am not that power. I am that free power which is not attached, which has no longing. And then even if you desire, then he says that I am that desire which is in attunement with with righteousness, indirectly hinting to all of us that if we have any desire, we must bring it to righteousness. So what happens? What is the common flow of desire in human beings, life after life, is first we desire sensual pleasure, we desire pleasures of the senses, and that then after that we start to feel dissatisfied from that. We start to ponder, "Oh, there must be something more, this is not very satisfying, it is so temporary, it doesn't give me a sense of fulfillment." So then man thinks that, okay, let me let me have a goal in life, and let me have work for that ambition and aim. So he comes from the karma level, he comes to the earth level, where he says, okay, I will gain some material riches, I will use my intelligence, and then he starts to do this. He gets some level of satisfaction and happiness, but then after many lifetimes he starts to think, oh, there must be something higher. Even I do feel satisfied working for my goals, but this is, my heart still feels unfulfilled, there must be something higher. And then over lifetimes he discovers from artha that he has to come to dharma, and he starts to do righteous things, he starts to become generous, he starts to do charity, he starts to include other people in his happiness. And as he expands his consciousness, he feels, oh, this is more fulfilling. When I include others in my happiness, when I work for others selflessly, I feel more of a sense of fulfillment than I felt when I was working only for myself, or when I was only involved in sense pleasures. So he does this for a long period of time, but then again, the intelligent man comes to the questioning that, oh, there is still something left in me which is unfulfilled. There is something that has to be achieved more. And that is that when he shifts from dharma to the quest of moksha, because only when our soul is united to spirit, only when we recognize ourselves to be the indivisible part of spirit, which is complete bliss in itself, that we stop all desires, and that we reach the level of moksha. When knowing that I am bliss itself, I desire for nothing else. So this is how desire flows through generations, through lifetimes, and then to the point, the fact that all of us present here are now looking towards the direction of moksha means we've already passed through those stages of sense pleasure, of selfish work and selfless work. And of course, we continue to do selfless work. Artha and dharma also continue, but our main aim becomes moksha, and you organize your life more around moksha. And also, this is where actually the guru enters in our life. When he seriously finds you in quest of truth, he seriously finds that you're a good child, and then he disciplines you further, he refines your consciousness further, and he takes you from human into divine consciousness. And this is where we need all the help that we can get from the universe, from God, and in the form of guru. Okay, so this brings us to shloka number 12. ये चैव सात्विका भावा राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत एवेति तान् विधि न त्वहं तेषु ते मयि। सतोगुण अच्छाई, रजोगुण क्रियाशीलता और तमोगुण बुराई की सभी अभिव्यक्तियों को मुझसे उत्पन्न हुआ मानो, यद्यपि वे मुझ में हैं, मैं उनमें नहीं हूं। Know that all the manifestations of sattva, good, rajas, activity, and tamas, evil, emanate from me. Though they are in me, I am not in them. So here clearly he is saying, so previously to this stanza, he was showing his immanent nature. Immanent nature means God is present in and through all of creation. Whatever you see around, God is in and through that. So that is the immanent nature of God. But now by saying that the gunas are in me, but I am not in them, he is also saying that my nature is transcendent. So beyond the gunas, beyond Prakriti is his nature. And we will later study in one of the shlokas that God says that I have made this creation out of just a fraction of my being. So we know that God is present not only in creation, but the transcendent, formless, infinite God is also present beyond all creation. And that's what we said earlier, that this whole creation is a speck of dust in the lap of the infinite Lord. Although it is inconceivable for the human mind and intellect to grasp, because there are certain limitations, but when we are awakened intuitively and when we can feel in our heart the subtlety of our own existence, that we are existence, consciousness, bliss, then what is being said here is understood. We understand our own transcendent nature, that the soul, although soul is operating through my causal, astral and physical body, and it is what is the enlivening feature of this, but if I choose to be, I can be part of that transcendent soul nature. So if by the grace of the Guru and by yoga practice, I can become that witness which transcends these bodies. And if I want, I can work through these bodies. So this is the nature of God, all pervading, and you can actually choose which side you want to be. And God is playing. This is Leela. When you are in deep sleep, you are not concerned whether the world is existing or not. So the soul it wants to rest for some time, and then when you wake up in the morning, the entire panorama of creation, suddenly it is available to you. So God, it has to be God's Leela. It's resting for some time, then playing for some time, then dreaming for some time, doing so many various things, and then quitting the body and then moving on to another body. So all of this is nothing but God's Leela, and therefore we must not take it very, very seriously. We must take it easy, we must take it happily, and remembering that the goal of all of this is entertainment, education to the point of self-realization. Okay. So, interestingly, Master has explained this shloka very beautifully, and I will read what he says. That he says, all the good and evil dream pictures are projected by the cosmic picture beam. Yet the dream pictures they do not reveal the essentiality that God is the cause. So when you are seeing a picture, you are not reminded of the fact that what is beyond that. You forget that it is just a play of light and shadow, and both light and shadow are also God himself. So it does not display to you that everything, that the immanent and the transcendent God is flowing through everything. Your attention is so much lost in that, in the movie, that you are forgetting the truth. So then he says that a man may dream good dreams, worldly dreams, evil dreams, and yet when he may discover that on waking, his consciousness was unaffected by them. This is our daily experience. We've had so many dreams, and when we wake up, we know that the $1 million that we earned in the dream have come to naught right now. Our consciousness is not affected. And similarly, if a tiger had eaten us up in the dream, again I can wake up and suddenly be at a different level of consciousness, and realize that my consciousness was not actually affected by what I saw in the dream. And therefore he says that similarly, that through Prakriti, this dream creation which God is projecting all the time, though Prakriti has power over all the beings that are emanating from it, but it is Prakriti itself is God's power. So now we are under this kind of a spell where we are not understanding what is happening behind. So he says, what do you do to come out of this? He says, to remedy the situation, the intelligent man should remain in good company, or at least remove himself from evil company. Poisoned by birth with Maya, he should strive to meet good person, he should follow virtuous ways, he should follow the guidance of a true guru, and he must practice yoga. So when we say practice yoga, doesn't mean simply hatha yoga or exercises, but it means the path, the process, the method of joining your consciousness with the infinite consciousness. Then he says, through the cumulative effect of meditation, he should remain ever calm and spiritually watchful. These are the practical methods to neutralize the effect of delusion. So let me just repeat what he has told us to do. First and most important, he says good company. Second, he says virtuous ways or righteous living. Thirdly, he says follow the guidance of a guru. Then he says practice yoga. And then he says be ever calm and be spiritually watchful. So are we practicing calmness all the time? It is impossible to stay calm all the time unless you are a regular meditator. Unless you feel the divine calmness which is inside of you during meditation, how will you express that calmness which you have never tasted? It is only when your cup of calmness is full, it gets filled in meditation, that overflows during your daily activities, and that same calmness you are projecting outward. But if you have not touched that deep thing inside you, then how will you stay calm? You will automatically react. This is how we are programmed. This is how we are wired. From birth, this is the case. So therefore, he says, by good company and by the guru given techniques, when you will become more and calm, he clearly says it is the cumulative effect of meditation. So let us check in ourselves. Are we creating this summated effect? Are we meditating regularly so that someday we will have that enough accumulation of the effect of meditation that we can stay calm in spite of any outward storm? That we are not reacting to whatever is happening. We are appropriately responding, yes, but we are not reacting with lower base, emotions like anger, like hatred, like irritability, like anxiety, and like fear. So if we want to attain this place where we are not affected negatively, then we must regularly meditate and cultivate that calmness, the effect of which comes by regular, unceasing yoga practice. Then he says, Master continues, he says, if God had not created the triple qualities, then his cosmic dream play would have been meaningless. So again, we have heard this story many times that when God created man, man was given all the intelligence, and when man in his limited body, he came on earth, but he was intelligent, he had free will, and he wanted to, he said, oh, but I am blissful consciousness. What am I doing in a body? Let me just sit in meditation and let me merge myself with the infinite. So the initial creation, it merged back into the infinite. And God says, oh, this is not working. I want a show that is self-perpetuating. I want a show that goes on and on and on, and I want to entertain myself. So then he created this separation, he created this Maya, he created temptation, he created limitations in every, the Shiva became little Jiva and played the game as if it is limited, and then it tasted pleasure, it tasted pain, and then it wanted to transcend pleasure and pain, and this whole show went on, is still going on, and will keep going on. It keeps going on in cycles, as is the pleasure of the Lord. So if these gunas are not there, then this drama won't be existing, and then the point is, we will say that, God is having fun, but here I am suffering in this drama. To this, God's reply is, who are you? Find out who you are. And once you discover, once you go on the path of self-realization, and you know that the self is God itself, that you are bliss itself, and you realize that, oh, this was only a drama, and from eternity you have been the infinite Atman, you only forgot it for a temporary period of time. But now, again, by your own effort and by God's grace, you are becoming, the Jiva is again becoming Shiva. The Jiva is remembering that it was Shiva always. So Shiva becomes Jiva and plays the Leela, and then the Jiva, going towards the Vidya part of the Maya, gains knowledge and wisdom and knows that it was Shiva always. And this cyclical game continues to go on and on. And for us also, right now we think we are Jivas, but if we realize right now that we are nothing but Shiva ourselves, then automatically this drama will not have any misery making effect on us. We will be entertained by it, and obviously it is because we have educated ourselves to the fact that all of this is God, is being done by God. Then Master says, finally, man made in the image of God must learn through constant yoga communion with God how to remain uninvolved in Maya and how to view the panorama of life experiences as sheer entertainment. So when I was reading this, I was thinking, oh, Lord Vishnu is lying down comfortably and is smiling and is enjoying as this Leela is going on. Can we in ourselves do that? So can we go to such a restful state in our own mind, from where we too can watch that our own self from a third person perspective, and see, separate ourselves from this emotional tumult and become a witness of not only the entire rest of the world, but also our own body and mind. So when we can come to that state, then we will be able to enjoy this creation just as God is enjoying his creation. And we will be in the sense of awe and wonder at the beauty, the amazement, the intelligence behind this creation. And, as Swamiji wrote a song, well done, Lord, oh, very well done. And this is the thought that comes in your heart as you start to realize that, oh, this is such a beautiful thing happening. In fact, there is a story from Dakshineshwar temple. It is said that once a realized sage came to Dakshineshwar, and he would mostly be sitting in meditation inside a room. But when he would come out, and he would see the outside world, he would clap his hand and he would say, wow, God, what a beautiful creation you have made. And having enjoyed that, he would go back into meditation and then be in a room. So that sense of childhood, that wonder comes in and says, oh wow, what a creation. But I can, if I choose to be, I can stand separate from it. I can choose to get involved in it, and I can choose to stand separate from it. And this is the power of a master, of a yogi, and this is the power which God wants us to have. And that is why he's telling us all of this, he's giving us this wisdom. And he's promised us that this is not only theoretical wisdom, but this is a wisdom that you will gain by your own intuitive understanding, and that will free you from all pain and misery. Okay, so we'll just begin the next shloka. We'll go into greater detail of that in the next class. So, shloka number 13. त्रिभिर्गुमैर्भार्वैरभिः सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेश परम व्ययम्. सभी गुणों से परे मुझे अव्यय रूप स्वरूप को नश्वर प्राणियों का यह जगत नहीं जान पाता, क्योंकि वे प्रकृति के 3 गुणों द्वारा भ्रमित हैं. This world of mortal beings does not perceive me, unchangeable and beyond all qualities, because they are deluded by the triple modes of nature. So here we are again, Krishna is saying, first he is saying that all the triple modes of nature are there, and in creation everything is that, and I am working through that. But then he says that why man cannot perceive. So again, a devotee can have this question that, oh Lord, if you are present in all the gunas and working through all the gunas and present everywhere, why am I not able to perceive you? So to this, Krishna is automatically answering that you are not able to perceive me because you are so deluded. You are hypnotized by your ego, and you are hypnotized by the variety of the different layers of consciousness that are operating. So starting from Sat or cosmic consciousness, it comes down to Kutastha Chaitanya or Christ consciousness. From that, it comes down to super consciousness. Then it comes to human consciousness. Even in human consciousness, there can be sattvic qualities, there can be rajasic qualities, there can be tamasic qualities. So again, sattvic consciousness, rajasic consciousness, and tamasic consciousness. So when I'm saying this, Advaitin will literally make fun of this, because he will say, oh, how can anybody have a sattvic consciousness? Because consciousness is pure Brahman. It is not, it cannot be differentiated. But when we are saying sattvic consciousness is a type of energy that is emanating for this person. But we just say that because we think of our conscious awareness as our consciousness. So although language can be a little confusing sometimes, but that way Sanskrit and Hindi are very clear. When it talks of pure consciousness, it talks about Brahman. And when it talks about limitation, it talks about the gunas. But in English, sometimes it is difficult to explain the two differently. But the point here is that there are so many gradations in life. There is so much variety that man is bewildered, man is deluded, and therefore he gets so involved in a lifetime of 70, 80 years with his limited sense organs. He finds just gets so engrossed with these qualities, with the differences, that he has no time or available energy or attention to even ponder that it could be emanating from one source, that this one light which is projecting as this panorama, and therefore he does not come to the bliss of his own soul, because having gone into the world and being bewildered by it, he gets lost in the jungle of life. And there he's too concerned with his body. Body is feeling hungry, body has to see this, body has to be maintained. With that, then he's with his emotions, he's concerned with other human beings. With his mind, he's just calculating, how will I safeguard my body and mind? So he goes into completely, gets lost in the Prakriti and its gunas, that he doesn't even have the time, the thought to think about pure blissful consciousness. But eventually, each human, after having suffering enough for lifetimes, will ask the question, what is beyond the jungle of this life? What is beyond the ocean of samsara? And how do I get beyond the ocean of samsara? And this question Krishna will answer to us in our next class as we proceed. So we end today's class with these great teachings of Lord Krishna, of his oneness, of his power, and we share this power with all souls everywhere. Let us pray together. Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, thou art omnipresent, thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, and all souls. Om. 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 Divine Mother, beloved Krishna, great Gurus, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all true hearts. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.